Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at an opinion piece from The Hill. Now, this was written by Pete Hutchinson and Mike O'Neill. It was published on the 29th, and they got to make clear their views don't necessarily represent ours because, yeah, they're calling out Roberts with his bullshit. But, yeah, anyway. Chief Justice Roberts is right on elections decisions except when he's wrong, because he's basically doing stuff that, you know, as a conservative who's supposed to have been, you know, a constitutionalist. He's just a rhino neocon, but that was supposed to be a constitutionalist. He's been kind of activist, you know, shipwreck from the bench lately. Yeah. Anyway, let's get into this here. This week, in DNC versus Wisconsin State Legislature, the Supreme Court refused to allow a federal judge to undermine Wisconsin's authority to conduct its elections. The court has been clear and consistent. Beer virus is not an acceptable excuse to set aside state efforts to enforce voting protections that ensure the integrity of the electoral process. Right. Because you've got them trying to get rid of, like, in multiple jurisdictions, the fact of people signing their ballots and shit like that. Having to have a signature and comparing said signature to their signature on their voting registration card. Yeah. Which, to me, when you have Democrats saying, oh, we don't need to verify the signature to the voter registration card, you know there's shady shit going on. But hey, you know, that's just supposed to be allowed because, oh, you're suppressing voters if you don't do that. Because these people are retarded. They honestly think that makes sense in some whacked out, you know, bizarro world when it doesn't. You're not suppressing the vote by making sure that their signature matches. But to the Democrats and the left, that's exactly what you're doing if you do it. Anyway, time and again, both federal appellate courts and the Supreme Court have rejected federal court orders issued close to an election that intrude into election procedures. When private parties such as the Democratic Party and the ACLU or the League of Women Voters challenge state laws designed to ensure the integrity of the ballot, the highest federal courts are consistently siding with the states, which this is what I don't get. All right, the League of Women Voters used to be a good organization, so much so that when they actually ran the debates instead of the bullshit, you know, cabal of neocon, rhino shipbricks, and Democrats in a supposed bipartisan commission, all right, the League of Women Voters were legit. They actually used to ask hard questions, and it got to the point where they kicked the League of Women Voters to the fucking curb because they were legit. I guess they ain't legit anymore when they're filing bullshit lawsuits like this. I mean, the same with the ACLU. I mean, you know, the American Civil Liberties Union used to be for free speech for everyone. Well, now they're like, well, free speech for for these people, but not for you or you. And it's only people on the left that they say free speech for now. These are the same people that defended the right of neo-Nazis to march through a Jewish neighborhood, you know, because they were First Amendment supporters, now backtracking on that type of shit. And they say that they wouldn't have taken that case today, which tells you a lot about where they stand. And it should tell you when they're fighting against states' election integrity laws, where they stand on the fact of there being actual integrity to an election. They don't want it because they want the fix to be in. It boils down to this. Federal courts may not interfere with a state's constitutional duty to regulate the time, place, and manner of its elections. Exactly. That's up to the state, okay? Who the hell is some judge to dictate to, say, my state, New Hampshire, when, where, and how they hold the elections? That's up to my state. That's up to my legislatures, okay? That's up to the House. That's up to the Senate. That's up to the governor. They all come together. They decide on that. They write legislation to change it, or, you know, add extra, you know, things for the note of integrity or security, stuff like that. That's on them. It's not up to some judge to legislate from the bench. I mean, seriously. Nor should federal courts undermine the state's legislature's specific constitutional responsibility to set election rules. Exactly. But yet, that's what these Democrats want. And Roberts has helped them a little bit with this shit. And it's disgusting. I mean, I understand he's a rhino neocon shipwreck, but you can't flip-flop like he is and not have your integrity called into question. Many of these cases involve private litigants seeking to compel a state to extend its deadline for receipt of absentee ballots beyond the date set by law. Yeah, pretty much. And they're all in bed with the Democrats. Go figure. And these efforts have failed because appellate courts, including the Supreme Court, understand that state legislatures are in the best position to regulate their own elections. Yes, but see, these organizations that don't like Trump, don't like Republicans, are fighting shit that keeps the what integrity we have, okay? What checks we have for integrity in our elections. They're trying to just to remove them, to destroy them. Which should say a lot about the intentions of these organizations and groups. You would think when they're doing that, people would be like, you know what? Why the fuck would I give them a dime? And they'd be broke at this point, but they're not. Because they've got money coming from influential Democrats that are supporting them at this point. They're puppets. Oish. This means setting hard deadlines for receipts of ballots. Yes, exactly. It used to be your ballot had to be there by this date. And then it was, we'll add a day or 2 or 3 days. As long as it's postmarked. Because, it used to be, well, if you want to have your vote in, you make a fucking effort to get it in early enough so that it would be there by the day of the election. Then it was like, well, people are too lazy and stupid, so we need to extend it past the election day. As long as it's postmarked, it should be fine. No, it shouldn't. If you can't take responsibility for your own shit, voting is a serious thing. If you can't put the effort in to get your goddamn vote in early enough, that's on you. You shouldn't get a free pass on that. But the Democrats have pushed for that, and they've managed to get that in a lot of localities where, you get a day or 2 or 3 after. And now they want a week or 2 weeks or a month. It's like, are you fucking retarded? And they even want it so that they can come in after the election. It's ridiculous shit. And you would think that they'd be like, people aren't that stupid. They ain't gonna buy our shit. But no, they think we're all that stupid. And don't get me wrong, your average, low information voter, especially, when we're talking on this note, like the Democrat side, they think this is a good thing. They don't realize that it opens the door for the other side to play shady. See, they think it's a good thing, even if they understand the concept of it being shady. They don't realize this shit can come back to bite you in the ass. You don't think a McCain type, okay, or a Romney type, if they had a bunch of rhinos and neocons, with an R next to their name, you don't think, whether it's Congress or a state level or whatever, you don't think that they would take advantage of a situation like this once the Democrats open the door? Of course they would. But hey, we got to get the evil orange man out. So they don't care. In DNC versus Wisconsin State Legislature, the court left in place a stay on lower court's directive that the Wisconsin extend its deadline for receipt of absentee ballots in contravention of state law. Yeah. So the court left in place an order that violates the state law. They legislated from the bench. The Wisconsin Election Commission had mailed every registered voter an absentee application months ago. Any voter who wished to vote by absentee ballot could complete the form and then complete their ballot. Yeah. But, hey, well, they didn't put the effort in, so we got to get an extension. No, that's not how it works. They didn't put the effort in. Too bad, so sad. That's how it works. And that's how it used to be. Seriously. If you couldn't put an effort in to get your shit taken care of, that was on you. Which you would think something like voting, which is a very serious thing, that would apply. But they don't want it to. Because they know they can't rig an election. They know they can't be shady. They also need that extension for that fact because you want to send in enough ballots to tip it. And if they can extend the receiving of ballots by days after the election, the Democrats can stuff the ballot boxes and get away with it. You know, they try to say, oh, there's no widespread voter fraud. It's never been a thing. As someone who studied history, has a degree in it, if that was the case, then how come it's a matter of historical fact that John Fitzgerald Kennedy won Chicago and Illinois because of thousands of dead people who were registered for their residence being the cemetery they were buried in, voting for him? Oh, no voter fraud, but yet all these dead people voted for JFK. Nothing to see here. That's been going on, okay, for decades upon decades upon decades, all right? Oh, there's never been any history of voter fraud or election fraud, okay? But yet you look like you can go throughout the history of this country and find different examples of it. Like massive, massive election and voter fraud, okay? Look at Tammany Hall. Another example. Who was it? Democrats. New York City Democrats. Stuffing fucking ballot boxes, okay? Taking fucking people off the boat, going and running them in to vote, okay? And like, oh God, the DiCaprio friggin' movie about the 5 points. Oh God. The shit that they were doing there where they were shaving people and stuff like that. Tammany Hall actually did that and had people vote multiple fucking times. That's documented. This is historical fact. You think they just pulled that out of their ass? There's been a long history of this type of shit going on. And you got the legacy media going, oh, it's never happened in the history of this country. Trump is just talking out his ass. It's like, no. What about this historical example? I don't know. What about this? Doesn't happen. I mean, seriously. That's how they play this shit. And they think people are stupid. And they need to get that time past the election itself so that they can slip those extra ballots in. But yeah, so they mailed them out months ago. Anyway, let's continue here. Any voter who wished to vote by absentee ballot could complete the form and then complete the ballot. Real simple. Individuals have had months to cast their vote. Exactly. If they couldn't make an effort to get it in before this point, that's on them. Voters can bring their completed ballots to county election offices, or they can use drop boxes placed throughout the state. Voters can even turn in their ballots at polling locations on election day. Exactly. But this wasn't enough for a federal district court that had ordered the state to give voters an additional 6 days to submit their ballots without considering the practical implications of such an order, which they didn't even have the authority to do that. The state law, they're there to interpret state law, okay? The state law covers this shit. The judge has no power to extend an order for 6 days like that. But yet, it flew, I should say. But anyway, continuing on. As Justice Gorsuch notes in his concurrence, states have always required voters to act in a timely fashion to express their views in the voting booth. Exactly. If you can't work within a timely manner, that's on you. Like Wisconsin, other states have gone above and beyond their duties to ensure that any eligible individual can lawfully cast a ballot. Wisconsin. You wonder why the judge ruled 6 days. Because those 6 days allows them to stuff ballot boxes. Allows for the Democrats to slip those votes in that they need after shit's been called. This was like a scam. This is a coup. This is what's going on here. They're trying to rig shit and the judge is helping. By saying fuck you to the state legislature. I don't care what you decided as the will of the people. I'm going to tell you how things are going to be done. I mean, seriously. So anyway, they get their eligible individual can lawfully cast a ballot. At some point, it is the responsibility of the voter to comply with the minor requirements imposed by the election officials. Exactly. Plain and simple. It's your responsibility. You deal with it. If you can't, that's on you. The Constitution delegates to state legislatures, not federal courts, exclusive authority to make election rules. Exactly. This makes sense. Justice Gorsuch rightly notes. Legislatures make policy and bring to bear the collective wisdom of the people. Exactly. Well said. While courts dispense the judgment of only a single person or handful. Exactly. So you literally have a judge saying they know better than the people of the fucking state, okay? Or their representatives within the legislature. I mean, that's some sanctimonious shit. That's some smug, sanctimonious, head up your ass type shit. Legislatures have greater resources for determining the best and most efficient methods for conducting elections and are directly accountable. Exactly. And this is where Chief Justice Roberts screwed the pooch and showed how he's just a neocon rhino shipwreck. And how he has no problems, going against the very oath he took in regards to the Constitution and the laws of this country. Unfortunately, Chief Justice Roberts has taken the opposite position when it comes to last-minute state court interference with election procedures. His view appears to be that state courts have the power to usurp their state legislature's authority, which they don't. The idea is you've got three branches of government and they balance each other out. It is not the position of the court to be doing what Roberts is backing here. He should know this. Well, he obviously does. He just doesn't give a shit. So anyway, yeah, they don't have the power to usurp the legislature's authority. The result, disruptive judicial changes in states, including Pennsylvania and North Carolina, are likely to produce chaos, confusion, and post-election legal conflicts. And it's because Roberts, okay, he's one of those ones that's involved with these elites and shit like that. He's a rhino neocon, appointed by a rhino neocon, okay? They have no fucking moral fiber, none of them, because they'll flip-flop on whatever shit. I mean, you've got, hell, or they're just sadist, psychotic, sociopathic pieces of shit. Look at friggin' USS Forrestal, McCain, okay? This man has gone through his life and his career being a complete and total shitbag. And he got away with it, okay? He literally starts a fire on the USS Forrestal, fucking around like a moron, okay? Having 1,000-pound bombs on his jet that can only carry 500-pound bombs on the mounts. He pop starts and catches the jet behind him on fire. The crew of the USS Forrestal wants to string him up. He was going to be court-martialed for his actions until his daddy, the admiral, stepped in, who saved his ass. They quickly moved him off of the ship while his shipmates were dealing with the dead and the results of his actions. He goes to Vietnam, ends up at the Hanoi Hilton, and he sold out and lied about, he sold out all of his fellow POWs. He lied about this country. He basically became the Viet Cong's shill for some extra rice and Vietnamese fucking hookers. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a bunch of little fucking Vietnamese McCains running around that country right now. Actually, probably at this point they'd be old. But you understand what I'm saying. All right, so there's he's got grandchildren in Vietnam. I'm sure of it. Because everyone who was at the Hanoi Hilton exposed this shit. Somehow he ends up a senator, runs for president, shit like that. This stuff never comes back to bite him in the ass. Why? Because the legacy media was in bed with both sides of the false left-right paradigm. Now, because they don't, because the days of the neocon rhino control of the Republican Party is over, they're just strictly in bed with the Democrats. I mean, it also helps on that note that they're lefties themselves, but that's the type of situation we're dealing with, okay? Where you have a corrupt system, and you have someone like Roberts, who was a shitty fucking choice for the Supreme Court, being no different than a McCain type. I mean, that's kind of what he's showing here. Oh, how can I fuck Trump? He didn't care about the law. What he cared about was fucking the president. That's not right. Someone should not be in a position like him that'll do something like that. So anyway, yeah. So he's for taking up opposite position, blah, blah, blah. His views appear to be that state courts have the power to usurp the state legislature's authority. I mean, that's just disgusting. The result, disruptive judicial changes in states, like I've already read this, but I had to reiterate, states including Pennsylvania and North Carolina, the states that are going to be contested. He wants to create chaos and confusion so the Democrats can slip in and go, we won. When you have a coordinated effort between Silicon Valley, the Democrat Party, Roberts, and others, this shady shit going on, when this is all falling into place like that, okay, you can go, a lot of fucking coincidences, or you can go, yeah, there might be a coordinated effort going on. I'm more apt to believe coordinated effort. Just my opinion. Last-minute judicial orders upending legislative election systems, as Justice Gorsuch wrote earlier this week, are a recipe for chaos. Such last-minute changes by largely unaccountable bodies invite confusion, risk altering election outcomes, and in the process threaten voter confidence in the results, which is another thing they want to do. See, if you can undermine the confidence, you can still pull off your little friggin' coup. See, they want to have all this shady shit going on. They want to have it so that people, like with the Democrats, if Trump wins, or I should say, my gut's telling me when, but when that happens, they need to have that environment there so that they can push their bullshit with the left. They don't care about the right looking at the legitimacy of the election. They only care about the left, because if Trump wins, they're going to use the perception they created about it not being legitimate to pull 4 more years of the shit they've been pulling. So that's why they want to fuck with voter confidence. We applaud the Supreme Court's decision to this point in case arising in federal court. We are hopeful that Justice Barrett, who has yet to participate in an election-related case, will join Justice Gorsuch, Thomas, Alito, and Kavanaugh in rejecting state court interference that is sure to arise after next week's election. Yes, I hope with that one, because because honestly, oh God. What the fuck is ABC? Is that what they're calling her? But, or ACB, sorry. But Barrett, okay. Why do you think the Democrats want her to recuse herself? Because they know they need to have the imbalance. They're trying to go for this. That's why they were pushing, well, it wouldn't be right for her to sit there and listen to these cases. Yeah. I mean, like with Chuck Schumer saying she needs to recuse herself. See, I trust her as far as I can throw her, because Illinois, she's the one who ruled in favor of their draconian, unconstitutional lockdown being constitutional. She's a statist. She, to me, looks like she's going to end up being another fucking Roberts. So I don't know if it was a good idea, Trump nominating her. I think he should have went with, Lagola, is that her name? The daughter of Cuban immigrants. She would have been a far better choice. And there was nothing they could have said about her. She would have been way more of a constitutionalist, because she's shown that over her years in the court. ACB hasn't. She's shown that she's a statist more than anything. But, yeah. So, I mean, I'm surprised the Hill published this, because they're calling out Roberts. And the Hill is pretty far fucking left. I mean, they platform, all right, like it's a good thing. Fucking Chank, retarded, Buffalo, fucking Uyghur. All right. And that should say a lot about where they stand when they have him on, and like he's like a contributor, and it's not like an opinion type thing. Like he's like kind of like their thing. Like he does their live stream fucking webcast type shit. And they actually go to him as like a credible source of like a election type stuff. It's hilarious. So that's another reason why I'm surprised, because you would think that they're all deranged like that retard. Anyway, I've covered this well enough. I'm leaving things here. If you liked this video, depending on where you are watching it, please give it an upvote or thumbs up. If you want to know when new content of mine hits the internet, don't forget to subscribe to one or more of my social media or video accounts listed here. Also, with YouTube, don't forget to ring that bell. You can find all of my video content on both BitChute and YouTube. This may not be the case with other places I upload to, but I will try to minimize this happening. You are always welcome to interact with me at any of these sites on the list, so feel free to do so. If you have anything you want me to cover in a video when it comes to news or current events, send it right along to me. I will try to do my best to cover it. As always, thank you for watching.